Let's get a wrap of international news. Here's Simon Pusey with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. North Korea has reportedly executed its special envoy to the US over the failed summit in Vietnam. A South Korean newspaper says Kim Hyok-chol and 4 other senior officials were blamed for the breakdown in talks and killed as part of a massive purge in March. The US President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un walked away from the negotiations in February following a dispute over sanctions. The United States is slapping a 5% tariff on all imported goods from Mexico. On Twitter, President Trump said the move will come into effect on June the 10th and will gradually increase until the illegal immigration problem is ramified. Car manufacturers could be hit hardest. Almost all of the world's biggest automakers build vehicles in the neighboring country. The White House says the tariff will increase to 10% on the 1st of July and reach 25% by October if Mexico fails to combat the problem. America is also reiterating its concerns about working with Chinese telecoms giant Huawei. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on a 5-day tour of Europe. In Germany, he warned of the consequences of doing business with the company.
We've been pretty clear about how we view the risks connected to Huawei and 5G infrastructure. The Internet of the future must have Western values embedded within it.
The captain of a vessel that crashed into a boat in Budapest has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct, leading to mass casualties. 7 South Korean tourists were killed and 21 people are still missing after the collision on Wednesday night. The South Korean foreign minister and her Hungarian counterpart visited the site on the Danube River, where recovery efforts continue. The search for bodies has been extended to Serbia because of the speed and force of the currents. An Islamic State supporter has admitted beheading one of 2 Scandinavian backpackers in Morocco. The bodies of Louisa Vestega Jespersen from Denmark and Maren Jurland from Norway were found in an isolated area of the Atlas Mountains last December. The suspected leader of the jihadist cell is one of 3 men accused of murder. 21 others face various terrorism charges. The 25-year-old street vendor told the court he regrets his actions. A Dutch wildlife photographer held hostage in the Philippines since 2012 has been killed by his captors. The military says Ewald Horn was shot while trying to escape during a firefight on a remote southern island. He was kidnapped by the Abu Sayyaf group, which has links to Islamic State and is known for extortion and bombings. The US-led coalition against IS has admitted it unintentionally killed more than 1,300 civilians in Iraq and Syria since 2014. In a statement, it said more than 34,000 airstrikes have been launched since the campaign against the terrorist group began in the 2 countries. A UK-based monitoring group believes the toll is much higher, saying the true figure is closer to 13,000 civilian fatalities. A Palestinian who stabbed 2 Israelis in Jerusalem has been shot dead by police. The unprovoked attack was caught on CCTV. The armed man was seen running through the old city before being intercepted. One victim was critically injured and the second sustained moderate wounds. And a Palestinian teenager was shot and killed by Israeli forces as he tried to cross the border. The 16-year-old was caught climbing a security fence near Bethlehem in the West Bank. Witnesses say he wanted to visit Jerusalem during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan.
عشان راح يصلي في الأقصى عشان راح يصلي في الأقصى يقوم في واجبه رايح يتعبد بقتلوه عشان رايح يتعبد رصاصة على قلبه بيحكوا لعب 16 سنة بربي فيه أيوه شاب طويل عريض عشان حرية الله أكبر.
Tens of thousands of worshippers attended midday prayers at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on the last Friday of the holy month of Ramadan. Men over 40, children under 13 and women of all ages from the West Bank were allowed to enter the city without permits for the occasion. Wild weather continues to cause problems in the US. The swollen Arkansas River is at record levels after heavy rainfall and is putting pressure on the aging levee system. Thousands of people across the state, as well as neighboring Oklahoma and Louisiana, have been forced to evacuate their homes. The National Weather Service expects rivers to peak within the next week. And finally, Europe's tallest and most active volcano is at it again. Mount Etna has started erupting, leading to some spectacular scenes including rivers of smoking red lava streaming down the southeastern slope. The Sicilian volcano can burst into action several times a year, spewing lava and ash high over the Mediterranean island. The last major eruption was in 1992. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Spectacular indeed. To sports now, here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Jama. FC Barcelona have exercised the option to sign Super Falcons forward Azizat Oshola on a permanent deal from Chinese side Dalian Quanjian. The 24-year-old initially joined Barcelona on a 6-month loan deal in January following the postponement of the 2019 Chinese Women's Super League. Madrid's police, security and emergency coordinator have advised football fans to behave during the Champions League final or risk being arrested and missing the game. Madrid's government delegation said 4,700 security personnel will be deployed to Madrid for the Tottenham versus Liverpool final, which has been deemed a high-risk match. Germany coach Joachim Löw has been taken to hospital after suffering an injury while exercising and will miss upcoming games against Belarus and Estonia. In a statement, the German Football Association confirmed that Löw was receiving treatment for a crushed artery and will not be in the dugout for the upcoming internationals. And that's sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And the main news again. A Federal Capital Territory court today dismissed the suit alleging age falsification against the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad. The court also ordered disciplinary action against the plaintiff's counsel for unprofessional conduct. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyaso. You have a good night.